Well, I thought our team was asked enough letdown questions. I think they probably were too, and the human dynamic can sometimes play into it, but not today, not at all, not with the way that they're maturing, and not with the way that we feel about the rivalry with Purdue. It's a big deal. They're a great program. They have been for a long time. Matt is one of not only the best coaches in this league, but he's one of the best coaches in the country, and there's no doubt about it. And when you play against them and when you coach against them, you've got to have a strategy for everything. You've got to have a great mindset, and our guys did that. And I thought Christian Watford came in and not only got us going at a high level offensively, but the job that he did on A.J. Hammonds was excellent. And I mean, really good. Because our guys they had memories of that game, they'd seen the film, and they'd heard plenty enough about how A.J. had 30 points in the first game and all that. And we came out and had a little different viewpoint of how we were going to defend them. And at the same time, they're so talented on the perimeter that you can't be in a situation where you drop off at all when it comes to the Johnson brothers, or when it comes to Bird, or when it comes even to Anthony Johnson. So I thought our guys did an excellent job. A lot of excellent basketball throughout the game in the sense of continuing to push it up. Will Sheehy, that's why we always consider him a starter, and there's no doubt about it. I mean, and you see it today. I had no idea until JD said it that he had a record if we took him out of the game then. I'm glad we did, and I'm glad that he got it. It's something that he'll always have, you know, when it's a record like that for the school. And he played outstanding. And Yogi, consistent. Jordan, consistent. Victor was doing an excellent job in the game before he injured his ankle, of letting the game come to him, facilitating for his teammates. And Cody just continues to do so many things. He commands so much attention on the court. And he played very efficiently today. Very efficiently, scoring the ball, rebounding the ball, defending, helping, blocking shots, all the different things. So I thought our team got better as the game went on. That's what you want as a coach. You want to continue to make adjustments that are going to make you better inside of that game. That's what they did, and it was a huge win for us.
Why did you decide to go with Watford on Hammonds, and what kind of advantages did you see with that guy?
Well, the one thing we wanted to do was just put him in a situation where we had a little bit more, get into his body a little bit better, change up, you know, how we defended him. And he got a couple buckets, I guess, in the second half. But we just wanted to be more aggressive. We wanted to be able to come off and help a little bit more, you know, with Cody. And Christian really rose to the challenge. I mean, he can guard anybody, and I'm glad that people are seeing that. I mean, we had GMs here today. We had other NBA teams. I mean, he can guard anybody, and he's got a toughness to him. He can make shots. He can get to the rim. He can make foul shots, but he can really defend, and that's big. I mean, it's just huge. I mean, when you have a group of guys, Will guarded himself. So I mean, it's when you got guys like Victor, Will, Christian that are so multidimensional with what they do defensively, it gives you an opportunity to do so many different things. And really Cody, in that sense, not just because he's 7 foot and it's hard to score, but because he can get down and guard different people.
From where the program was to where it is now, does it mean anything to you to get your IU record at back to 500?
Well, I knew we were on the verge of that. I would say this. And it's funny that they're back honoring our 2003 Final Four team at Marquette today. And when you're a younger coach and you look at those things, and you do know what you're averaging win-wise for your program and things, but coming in here and dealing with what we dealt with, I got over personal goals really quick. Because if I didn't, I was going to be depressed, and I wasn't looking for that. And I have no trouble being driven and motivated by the fact that we had such tough times here early on. I do think to get it back there, it's nice, but coming into Indiana, I gave up on all those things that you know, winning percentages and individual goals, and will you win X amount of games in this amount of time, and there was a time when I was interested in that. I knew we had it going at Marquette, and if I would have If we would have stayed there, my odds are good, we'd have kept building those wins. But we didn't. We chose to come here. And when you get into it, you do it for what's most important, which is making sure that you're developing a program, getting it back where it needs to be, and that every player continues to develop. So, in one sense, it's nice. It says a lot about the fact that this group has won 50 games in the last year and a half. But again, when it comes down to me personally, I gave up on that. You know, that somewhere along the line in that first year, I realized that wasn't going to be important anymore in my career.
Tom, what's the latest on Victor and any questions he'll play at Michigan State?
Well, I would say right now, I would go between precautionary and day-to-day in the sense of just wait and see. And he did some things in the back, and I just don't think that any of us were comfortable enough to say, let's go do it. I don't think he sprained his ankle, which you saw there, and he wanted to go back in, but we just weren't going to do that at that point. I don't think anybody felt medically that it was the best thing to do at that point, and I hope that he's going to be okay. He thinks he's going to be okay, but it's going to be a lot of time spent in this building, you know, getting it back to where it needs to be. So wishful thinking will be that he'll play, but I mean, we've got to wait and see how the next 24, 36 hours or so, how those turn out.
You mentioned using Cody basically on the perimeter right now. What I don't know if he'd ever necessarily had that assignment before really taking a guard. I mean, how well do you think he did on it basically?
Oh, I think he did fine. I think the one time I caught him is when he went to block a shot early, and then they dropped it off to Davis. And when we cleaned up our awareness off the ball, because we were doing a great job of being locked into the ball, even though a couple times we didn't play them personnel-wise. And this is a big personnel game with Purdue, with their strengths. And we didn't always do that, but we were really, really locked into the ball. And that allowed them a couple cuts at times, and because when you're doing that, I mean, he can block shots. You can't forget about your man, especially when your man can make threes. But he really adjusted well inside of the game. And it just shows his versatility. It shows Christian's versatility. You know, it shows Will's versatility. And, you know, we knew that it was going to be important that we had movement in the post, that we were active in the post, that we had our hands showing. We know we didn't need any displacement calls and things of that nature. We knew that had been the term of the week, and it was really important that we do a great job of making it hard for the ball to go in. But I also think a big part of it was the fact we pressured the ball better on the perimeter than we did up at Purdue.
Okay, Tom, given the struggles that you guys had the first couple of years, can you feel a little bit for what Matt is going through, trying to sort of reestablish the culture with a lot of freshmen?
No, absolutely, absolutely. But I mean, again, you know, Matt's one of the guys in this league. He gives credit to other people. I've always respected that about him, and he gives credit to other programs. And you know, even when we were struggling, he would say good things. I always appreciated that, and I think what that shows is he's got a real security in how he coaches, and I think he's an outstanding coach. And I'm sure I'm not alone, not just in this area, but in the country. I mean, and you wouldn't have had the people going after him that have gone after him in the past to hire him if he wasn't like that. And he had great players. And the best thing I can say about that is that we, as much as we competed against them, as much as we hated losing to them, as much as we battled and prepared, there was a lot to learn by those guys. There was a lot to learn, not just on the Johnsons and Moores and Hummels, but the other guys too, the Ryan Smiths of the world and the Kramers of the world. And I think he's an outstanding coach. It's a great rivalry. I hope we continue to do our part. I know they want to do their part. And I don't think they're that far off. I mean, I really don't. I mean, they're a talented team. And they're just young. But I don't want to feel too sympathetic because I think they're going to be really good. But he's just too good a coach for them not to be where they need to be moving forward. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Regarding the physicality in this game, is this just another Big Ten game, or do you think this game was a little more physical than the past?
I don't know. I have to watch film. I mean, all games are physical to a degree. I didn't look at the fouls. 23-18. I mean, we shot 24 free throws. We were under where we shoot free throws. So, I mean, if I'm judging on that, I'd say maybe not as much, but I don't know. It was a hard-fought game. I mean, they fought, we fought. It was a battle both ways.
Coach, after you emphasized closing out opponents after your last loss, in what ways have you executed that since then?
A better time and score awareness, better really making sure that the ball is moving, that we're not shooting it quick. I thought the fact that we had low turnovers in the second half, the 9 turnovers in the first half was not good. To have low turnovers in the second half, especially with the pace of the play picked up for us, and even with Victor not in there, and because the pace just goes at another level when he's in there. I thought that was important, and making sure that the ball was getting inside. And again, I didn't have, my finger on it as much the last 5 minutes, as much as making sure that we were running some offense, not as much in trying to slow it down or anything like that. But I think we really gained a great understanding from the Illinois game. I think that's been obvious, especially last Sunday at Ohio State, that our guys really responded. That yes, there's a lot of freedom here, but time and score at the end of the game is always going to override freedom.
Yep. Watford said that he had been guarding Cody in practice a little bit to help prepare for guarding Hammonds. What do you think he got out of being able to?
Well, they guard each other when we go best on best, and we try to mix it up. Our practices are different this year because we're doing different things the day after the game. So, and that means maybe a little bit more scrimmaging the day before the game. Even though yesterday we didn't, I thought our guys did a great job. I was really concerned about having the right kind of energy, and the rivalry energy, the crowd energy, that's one thing, and that carries you for a while, but boy, you got to have it possession after possession in a game like this. And I was concerned about that, so backed off a little bit yesterday. But I think it's important when those guys go against each other, they challenge each other in a big way. We did some of that this week. We'll continue to do that. And so some days we just mix the lineups up, and it's good for us. But I don't think there's any question they both benefit from that in answer to your question.
Just how good was Will across the board today? It seemed like he scored in every way that he knows how.
I'll tell you how good he was. I had no idea that he scored that many points, and I'm usually somewhat tuned into that in a game. I have a fairly decent pulse of it, but today I didn't. He was just so active. And again, it's just a living example. Here's Victor. Victor really didn't try to press, force, do anything in that first half that was out of character, out of context, because other guys were making plays to the point where I was more concerned about it than he was. And that's why he's such a great player, because here's this guy that's doing all these great things and getting all this attention. He's just out there feeding his teammates and making plays. Well, Will's the same way in the sense that he does so many things defensively, and he's so locked in to helping his teammates. He literally could run our walkthroughs, night before games, mornings of games. He could do that. We got some others that could too, but that's how locked in he is. He truly, and he's got the edge, and he's got the personality and all that, but he has completely bought in to the fact that he is a starter quality guy coming off that bench and understanding what the game has given him when he goes in. He epitomizes student of the game right now while the game is going on. And then when he gets in there, he just plays. And he's really maturing because of that. But he was all over the place. And again, because he can guard so well, because he can guard so many different people, and he's so active on defense, that activity just carries on offense. And I think they're going to get better. There's some things we definitely need to improve upon, and we were on our way to it today. And then Vic went down a bit, but there's a lot of room for improvement in this team, and I think guys like Will get that, and that's why they'll continue to improve and play the way they did.
Anything else for Coach?
Coach, Hammond's coming into the game. I think he's gone to the free throw line 38 times the last 5 games. Doesn't go to the line today. Just talk about, how important it was to keep him from.
There's no question. I think he was shooting. I think he was in the 80s, right? In the last 5 games, he was in the 80s. I'm pretty sure. And that was a big key for us today, that we didn't want to put him on the foul line because he makes them. He's quick. We just needed to make life tough down there in the sense of being active. He gets you if he gets you on his back, and you saw this a little bit late in the game. For his age, he's almost unstoppable, and that says a lot because they've done, and that goes into with Bob's question with Matt. They're doing their program. They're doing a great job of developing their team. I always thought we were when we were trying to build it up. You know, even though we didn't always come across that way because you weren't winning. Well, I think they're doing the same thing. I mean, that's a different player than he was. I mean, it sure helped him going to play for Steve Smith and getting that level of competition, and Matt's just picked right up from that. And that was big. You just couldn't let him get you on your back and be able to go into that jump hook or turnaround jumper with ease. And for the most part, our guys, and the other big thing is his rebounding. You know, his offensive rebounding. So what did he have? He had 2. I mean, it's big that we're really strong there. And you got to make him move. You got to make him guard and get up and down the floor and try to bring some fatigue to the game. But he's going to be outstanding.
Last question.
Yogi had 6 defensive rebounds tonight. How important is it for him or for Jordan to get those rebounds on defense and really get you
Huge emphasis. They took that message to heart. That's a big deal. I mean, our rebound numbers have got to go up. Individually, they'll go up, and that'll make, obviously, we'll be a better team, and our differential will be better. But when this team, when Yogi gets a defensive rebound, you've taken about 2 seconds, maybe 3 off your break. And that's a big deal. I mean, it's a big, big deal when he's out there in the open floor, and everybody's got to play catch up with that. Same thing with Jordan. And then, you know, when our guys are defensive rebounding, and it gives us more opportunities to score. And then when we're offensive rebounding, because we've got so many guys that are scoring at a good rate on their own offensive rebounds, that's important. So, big message this week, and they took it to heart and did a great job with it.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.